Hey, what is going on, tycoons? What's up, traders? For today's video, we're going to give a market update. All right, we're going to take a look at TLT. We're going to take a look at the SPY index, the SPY ETF. Then we're going to take a look at VIX and also skew. Okay, these are four things that you should really track among others. But we're going to go over all of the signs and the signals and the next signals that we're looking for to confirm direction. Okay, so make sure you guys subscribe to the channel, like this video if you're new, and we're going to jump into it. We're starting off looking at TLT. Now, I know it looks very confusing, but I'm going to make this very simple real quick, okay? So what we're looking at is a 5-wave move to the downside using the Elliott wave. All right, so here is our wave 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, right? And so wave 1, 3, and 5 are going to be 5-wave moves. Okay, so if we zoom in here on TLT, we can see, all right, that we're getting our 5-wave moves to the downside. All right, and then you get a correction wave. So you have your 1, your 2, your 3, your 4, your 5. That's our bottom of our A wave. And then you get a correction wave, which those are typically an ABC to the upside if you're in a downtrend and it's an upside correction. So we get that, right? We have our 1, 2, 3, right? And that gives us our wave 2. And then directly after that, we get another 5-wave move to the downside, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we may have possibly be trying to hit our C wave top out here. Okay. So we have our A up, our B down, and then here's our C. Now, I said that we can possibly go up to 109.72 before seeing a possible top on TLT, right? Now, we may even try to go as high as about 111, right? We do have a small gap up there to fill. On TLT. So the main thing we're going to be looking for, right, is we're actually going to pay attention to our MACD. Okay, the MACD is getting overbought, right? It's still showing lots and lots of strength. If we see today, we even had a gap up on TLT. But what we're going to look for is we're going to look for a MACD sell signal to the downside. Okay. So that's going to be when this blue line crosses the orange line and starts trading below. If we look each time we've got one of those in the past, okay, we have one here and then we get a sharp dramatic drop, right? And that kind of signifies and coincides with the end of our correction wave, right? Over here, we got a MACD sell signal as well, and it resulted in a drop. And over here, we got a nice MACD sell signal led to a drop. And then right here, we got a MACD sell signal. Right here, we got another MACD sell signal. So that's the main thing that I'm looking for any confirmation, is going to be a MACD sell signal on TLT specifically. Now, if we look at the relative strength index as well, which again, this measures the relative strength of a stock or an asset, whatever you're looking at, we are at overbought levels, but that doesn't mean it can't go higher, right? And I said that last time I did an update on this. If we look in the past, when we've been overbought or near overbought levels on TLT, we've actually continued to go higher, right? So we hit overbought over here, we drop down, but then we actually come up and make new highs, right? And that's when we're at these overbought levels. Eventually, we do start dropping, but only after we get our max D sell signal, okay? Over here, again, we can see, we're overbought in all of these levels, and we're continuing an uptrend. We pull back, continue an uptrend, pull back, continue an uptrend. So it is showing lots of strength in the bond market, and or in TLT. And so we may see this thing continue to rise. The main level we're really watching is 109.72 and 111.29. Now, if we go over to the SP 500, we check out the SPY ETF. We're tracking a very similar pattern, okay? And, again, we're looking at the 5 waves down, okay, possibly taking us to 350 down to 330 if it plays out fully. Okay, we have our most recent 5-wave correction down. And if we zoom in, the main thing I want to emphasize here is that we rejected this trend line to the upside that we have rejected many, many times this year. We rejected it over here. We rejected it right here. They say that the trend is your friend, right? And there's cycles and there's trends. So the trend is much more long term, and you may get a bullish cycle in between a bearish trend. So there's no reason to fight the trend necessarily right now while things are bearish. All right. And we did get a clean rejection there. SPY came up and filled the gap. Now, this is something that I'm saying TLT might do. SPY does have another gap up to fill. But what we're really looking for is we're looking to see if we're going to come down and fill this gap in the 380 area on the S&P 500 on the SPY ETF. Now, something else that I really want to highlight and emphasize here is that we actually have a rising wedge pattern. So it's a little bit cleaner on the S&P 500. We have our A, B, C wave up, and then we got a rejection right here at our trend line. We may be starting our 5-wave pattern to the downside that again could take us all the way down to 350, maybe even down to 330 before we see another move. Now, the main thing that's really looks bearish, okay, is we got the MACD crossover. We're just looking at TLT, and we need TLT to get the MACD crossover to really confirm this bearishness. But we have this rising wedge pattern right here with these two trend lines. Okay, we're zigzagging through here, and we just broke that trend line. So yesterday was actually a very good day in the Discord for a lot of the members, right? We had a few people, we had one person make $10,000 yesterday. And there's just we're trading every single day in the Discord. So if you want to be a part of our community, see these updates in real time and really just see all of the things we're looking at, as well as our exclusive data that we have from many of our intel sources within the Discord, then use the link in the description. You can use code Zackley as well, like the channel name Zackley Trades, and get yourself a discount. All right, but enough of that. So we got the rising wedge pattern, and we finally got a breakdown below. Now, it would make perfect sense for us to come down and then retest this trend line. So we are kind of seeing that happening right now live as the market's been open for like 7 minutes, and we're up pretty nice. We're up about 0.3%. So it would make sense if we end up coming and retesting the trend line for a perfect break, retest, and then continuation. And that would take us down here to fill this gap and start ending the wave one phase. Now, the main thing that looks really crazy right now is if we actually go to the VIX, VIX is very one directional. Okay. Meaning that if we take a look here, we can see that, for a period of about a month or two at a time, it's very one directional. So it drops for like a month or two, and then it rises for a month or two. We have these bearish channels right here, these bearish wedges, falling wedges, and then we end up getting a breakout and VIX just skyrockets for the next month or two. All right. And it just keeps doing that. And right now, if you take a look, we broke the trend line. So if we zoom in a little bit more, it could come back down and retest, right? So a lot of times when we break out of these channels, VIX does end up dropping back down. So we have a breakout here, it drops back down, and then it actually gets plays the rest of the breakout. Same thing here. We're trading in between here. We break out, we come back down, and then we go up higher. So what we're looking at right here is we've got the breakout. The VIX might drop, aka the market might go up a little bit more, and then if it finds support and then it truly rallies, that's going to be, the signal, right? So, we still have some things we're waiting on. We're waiting on the MACD crossover on TLT. We're waiting on a possible retest, on a possible VIX drop to come down here and then go back up. And also, I want to show you guys skew, okay, which this basically measures and we're going to put a line chart on because it's a little bit easier to measure this with a line chart. But what this measures is out of the money protection, right? So this is, the VIX is based off of S&P 500 option contracts and, people buying puts and calls and things like that. The skew pretty much measures out of the money protection, right? So it's not anything that's in the money. It's measuring stuff that's out of the money. We have a bullish pattern here. We have this falling wedge. We could get a breakout that could really skyrocket skew. Okay. Now this is going to be the breakout level that I'm really watching for. If we look at the exact date though, right? Friday was when we saw a huge spike in the skew index. Okay. Monday and Tuesday was not good for the stock market, right? We just showed earlier when we looked at SPY, right? So all of the out of the money put protection came in on Friday, and then we'll go back to SPY real quick and take a look. And what we see, all right, if we turn the candles back on, is that that's when we got 2 days of red. Okay, we got 2 days of red directly after all of that out of the money protection came. Okay, this is Monday, and then this is Tuesday. So all of those people that on Friday when things were going up after the rejection, right here we dropped down lower, and then we actually had a very bullish open or after open we had a bullish trading day, and then Monday and Tuesday were very red. So all of that out of the money protection that we were just taking a look at on skew has already paid off. Now some people may have been taking profit on those, And I definitely would have, which is probably why we're seeing the skew go back down. But it makes a lot of sense when we talked about, okay, well, the VIX usually breaks out and then pulls back and then goes higher, and it usually stays that way for like a month or two. So we really might not get the Christmas rally, and we may actually get the Grinch. Okay, we may get the Grinch instead of Santa Claus. I want to go back to the S&P 500 and just really highlight one thing that we haven't fully confirmed bearishness yet. Okay, and the reason being is because if we drop down to these support levels in here and find support, we can most definitely continue a rally, right? And there's lots of catalysts coming up in the market with PPI and CPI. So we could end up turning this ABC corrective wave that's supposed to be a correction wave. If this turns into an impulsive wave and we get an ABC, we drop down as our support levels down here, maybe fill this gap and then go higher and make an E, make a fifth wave, then we could actually void out this whole pattern that we've been tracking on the S&P 500, taking it down to 350 to 330. So that's a very real possibility. Okay, we have to keep that in mind. None of this is financial advice, but this is just chart-based data. Hoping to give you guys an update, and maybe you learned a little bit something new along the way. If you did, subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to hit the like button as well. And I do viewer requests every week too. So if you want to see an update on any stocks, any bonds, any volatility trackers, cryptos, ETFs, just let me know in the comments below. I'll be happy to do it.